Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a deeply personal journey into something called the architecture of action. We're going to slow things down a bit to really visualize the mechanics of our own lives, our goals, and the very real barriers standing in our way. If you've ever felt like you're standing on the edge of something great but just can't seem to take the leap, well, This Explainer is designed for you. Let's explore the mechanics of how we actually overcome stagnation.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the root of stagnation, and identifying the true barrier.
It's a totally universal human experience to feel stuck, right? Just kind of anchored in place while the rest of the world keeps moving forward. Look at the question we're asking here. Think about that one goal, that one major pivot, or that dream you've been harboring for a while now. What is holding you back? And I really want you to dig deeper than the surface level answer. Take a breath and truly internalize this regarding your own personal roadblocks. So the source text hits us with a pretty harsh but honestly necessary reality right out of the gate. Your situation versus your fear. We are incredibly masterful at blaming our external circumstances. We say things like, I don't have the money, or the economy is bad, or the timing's just off. But actually, these are often just really sophisticated smokescreens. The true foundational barrier that's preventing us from moving forward, it's entirely internal. It's our own fear. Which brings us to Section 2, the illusion of perfection, the waiting game. Because let's be real, we don't want to admit we're afraid. We develop these extremely complex coping mechanisms. It's like this endless waiting game for the stars to perfectly align. We convince ourselves we're just waiting for the perfect time or the perfect opportunity. Or, and this is perhaps the most destructive one, we wait until we become the perfect version of ourselves. Until we've read just one more book or taken one more online course. We set these impossibly high, gleaming standards specifically because they are impossible. They safely justify our inaction. And then this source text just completely shatters that illusion with a simple, heavy truth. But perfection never comes. Waiting for a flawless moment doesn't guarantee success. It guarantees permanent paralysis. The conditions are literally never going to be exactly right. You are never going to feel 100% ready. Honestly, if you demand perfection before you begin, you've kind of already decided to fail. Moving on to Section 3, Anatomy of True Success. Starting before you're ready. Let's shift gears from the problem that plagues us to how successful people actually operate out there in the world. And this brilliantly illustrates what is probably the most liberating truth in the entire text. Every successful person started before they felt ready. Just let that sink in for a second. Readiness is an absolute illusion. You don't feel ready and then take action. You take action, and the friction of doing that messy work is what actually creates the competence, which then creates the feeling of readiness. Action precedes readiness, not the other way around. Notice the sort of kinetic architecture of progress in this procedural success loop. They started before they were ready, which inevitably led to step 1, failed. But here's the thing. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a mandatory data gathering phase. That failure leads directly to step 2, learned. And because they learned, they hit step 3, kept moving. Failure is absolutely not an endpoint. It is a mandatory stepping stone within the whole process of achievement. All right, Section 4, choices versus excuses, building your future. So we've dismantled the illusion. Now we really need to look at personal accountability. Now, what's really interesting about this is how your future is essentially a physical structure being built right now. It's built by the choices you make today. Our daily choices act as the bricks and mortar of our reality, constructing it piece by piece. Our excuses, on the flip side, act as a massive wrecking ball. They actively dismantle our potential. You simply cannot build a life on the foundation of a perfectly crafted excuse. The text offers a really direct, empowering intervention here. Stop doubting yourself. Take that first step, no matter how small it is. You don't have to leap across a massive chasm today. You just have to break the cycle of self-doubt with a tiny microscopic action. Send the email, buy the domain name, make that phone call, write the first sentence. Momentum is generated by the absolute smallest of movements. Which leads us to Section 5, the 1-year perspective, the cost of waiting. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds, bringing all these concepts into a stark, undeniable reality. The text introduces one final mental model, the inevitable passage of time. Look, on day 1, you make the decision to act. By month 6, you're deep in the chaotic, messy process of failing and learning. And by year 1, you arrive at a destination shaped entirely by the compounding effects of that initial choice. A year is going to pass whether you take action or not. And at the end of that 1-year timeline, there are really only two binary emotional realities waiting for you. A year from now, you will either be immensely proud that you started today, or you're going to carry the heavy, sinking burden of wishing you had. Pride from action or the regret of inaction. There's literally no middle ground here.
It all comes down to a simple, profound truth. The decision is yours.
I want you to visualize your future self exactly 365 days from this very moment. They're looking back at you right now as you take in this explainer. What are they begging you to do? A year from now, what will you wish you had done today?
Start now.